Welcome to our discussion on sociobiology. And now we are going to discuss about the topics like navigation, homing instinct, aestivation, and hibernation. So first we'll see about navigation. So navigation can be defined as a process which enables a course or a path from one place to another and to be one place to another to be identified and maintained. So this is navigation is a process by which animals find out the direction to a particular place, how you navigate to a particular point from one place to another. So that's what is called as navigation, and navigation may require only movement towards or away from a stimulus. So, according to Griffin, navigation has three types of orientations, and they are pilotage or steering of a course. And this is usually done using familiar landmarks. So, if animals navigate using landmarks, that is called as pilotage. And second one is compass orientation. So, compass orientation is the ability to head to a particular compass direction without the reference of landmarks. So in this case, the different compasses like the magnetic field or the sun's arc, etc., will be taken as the guiding point or guiding tools for reaching that particular point, or that will be helping in navigation. The last one is true navigation, which is the ability to orient towards the particular goal, such as a home or a breeding ground, without the use of landmarks and regardless of its direction. So, without using landmarks or without taking any direction, if a particular animal is navigating, such types is usually called as true navigation. So, animals usually use different strategies for navigation. So, animals are known to possess compasses of various types, such as magnetic field of the earth. So, such magnetic field compasses are used by bacteria, honeybees, and also by many pigeons. Birds like pigeons respond to gravity, barometric pressure, and infrared cues. Birds, slugs, and salmons can navigate by olfaction. So, that is also another method, that is navigation by olfaction. Some other navigation aids are also used by different animals, like fishes use to navigate using the carbon dioxide concentration gradient, temperature changes, sound from other fishes, and also the geoelectric information. And some other animals they use visual cues or landmarks. So birds also follow the shape of a coastline to their nesting sites. Wasp recognizes landmarks around their nest. If the nest is moved, they will still return to the original location. So these are some of the means by which organisms navigate. Next is homing instinct. So homing is a behavior which is shown by migratory fishes, birds, and other animals to return to their original locality after taking a migratory journey. So coming back after migration is called as homing instinct, and the return of the animal to a place formerly occupied instead of going to other equally probable new places, because they return to the correct place without moving on to different places or similar places is usually called as homing instinct. And this may occur because of the compass direction, and this can happen at any season. Many animals use their internal biological clock to keep track of a personal time. The internal clock will be synchronized to the apparent time at the home. So, strong homing ability is seen among birds, particularly among pigeons. Salmons also navigate to their spawning streams by using olfactory senses. Pigeons navigate and get back home using smell. So, this is the different strategies or how birds return back to the correct places. For example, many birds like pigeons, they are they move out in the morning. They move to different places and they reach the same place. If you are rearing pigeons, the pigeons come back to your correct to your home, not your neighbor's house or five or ten houses apart. It correctly spots your home. So that is what is called as homing instinct, and there are many cues that is taken like order, They also take visual cues, etc. So, depending upon the animals, they take different cues to return back to their original home. So, next is hibernation. So, hibernation is a state of reduced metabolic activity and lower body temperature adopted by certain animals to overcome adverse climates and mainly adverse winter seasons. So, it is also known as hibernation is also known as winter dormancy or winter sleep. Hibernators include fishes, amphibians, reptiles, and few mammals. In mammals, the example is very familiar, like the polar bears, etc. They go, which go for hibernation. For most of the animals, food in winter is very short in supply, and also the temperature is very low. So, in such cases, organisms rely because going out during the winter in such a temperature is also a risk for their life, and staying somewhere without food is also risk. They may starve. So, to tide over these two conditions, hunger as well as the external temperature, animals undergo the process which is called as hibernation, where their metabolic rate greatly reduces. Because in some mammals, it has been reported that which take their hibernation undergrounds, they have reported that their heartbeat uh, drops down to something around 2 heartbeats per minute. So their complete metabolic activity lowers. And during hibernation, most of the mammals, in the case of mammals, what they do is that they eat too much during the other seasons, and they gain a very thick fatty layer around their organs. So this thick fatty layer has two consequences or two important functions during hibernation. One is it is acting as a, because it is a very thick layer of fat, it acts as an insulator so that the effect of temperature is less to the main organs like heart as well as the brain. And because it is fat, it is a very uh, great amount of, or supplies a great amount of energy to the energy for metabolism of the brain and heart during the hibernating process. So the deep sleep that helps to save energy and survive the winter without eating much. So hibernating animals get ready for their winter sleep by eating extra food and storing body fat, which they use while they are sleeping. There are two types of fat, the regular white fat and the brown fat. The brown fat forms patch near the animal's brain, heart, and lungs, the major vital organs, and it sends quick bursts of energy to warm these organs first. And when it is time to wake up, some of the hibernating animals include fishes, frogs, turtles, which have no way to keep their warm during winter because they cannot set up a fatty layer, etc. So, what they do is they either go underground or they will be sheltered into some woods or logs, etc. Or they take shelter into some small caves, etc. So, the animals which do not have the capacity to produce a coat, a fatty coat by themselves, they either escape from that conditions, like they move out from that particular location, like they move deep underground, because in the Arctic region they are having something which is called as a permafrost, which is a permanently frozen layer. So animals, they burrow deep after this permafrost and they take this particular thing which is called as hibernation. The hibernation also carries the risk as the dormant animal is vulnerable to predators and also unpredictable climate. Hibernation is a state of inactivity in which the animal's heart rate, temperature, breathing rates are decreased in order to conserve energy during the cold months of the winter. Among mammals, the true hibernators are found only in the order Chiroptera or bats and Insectivora, which is hedgehogs and rodentia, which includes the ground squirrel, etc. At intervals of several weeks, the animal elevates its body temperature, awakens, moves about, feeds, and then returns to the state of hibernation. And such hibernations are usually referred to as pseudo hibernation. Some species of insects show periods of inactivity during which growth and development cease and metabolism is greatly reduced. And this state is generally referred to as the diapause, which is associated with their reproductive cycle. So, hibernation is a gradual process. It is not all of a sudden an animal goes off for hibernation. It is a gradual process as the winter is near. Over a period of days, animals' heart rate and breathing rate drop slowly. The body temperature drops from 37 to 30 to 10 to 10, 20 degrees. The electrical activity of the brain completely ceases during hibernation, except the areas that can respond to the external cues like light, temperature, noise, etc. The periodicity of hibernating animals, periodically the hibernating animals awakes and takes a deep breath to refresh their air supply, and this is called as the arousal. Arousal begins with an increase in heart rate, or that is the wake up is called as arousal that increase with the increase in heart rate. Blood vessels dilate, particularly around the heart, lungs, and brains, leading to increased breathing rate. Eventually, that increases in circulation and the metabolic activity spreads throughout the body, and this usually takes about several hours for the animal to become fully active after hibernation. And the last of this type is aestivation. So, hibernation was something which is called as summer sleep, and this is nothing but, sorry, winter sleep. And this one, which is aestivation, so Aestivation. Hibernation is during winter and aestivation is during summer. So it is also known as summer dormancy or summer sleep. So this is a dormant period to the escape from heat and drought. So the most of the process are of hibernation are similar to hibernation, and the animals take sleep during the hot hours of the daytime. So many terrestrial and aquatic animals like lungfishes, earthworms, snails, amphibians, reptiles undergo aestivation to escape from the extreme temperatures. The cold-blooded animals like reptile maintain their temperature by reducing metabolic activities and protecting them from the high temperature. So this reduction in metabolic activity decreases the need for more food, water, etc. So the animals can survive the hot and dry periods. And mainly mainly when when you come to frogs, then caecilians, earthworms, etc., they bury themselves in the sand, and this may be for months or for an year. And usually, in the case of frogs, they come out only during the first rain. When the rainwater touches the soil or during the first rain, they emerge out of the ground. So during till that particular time, because they can't afford to that particular heat and drought, they will be under the process called as aestivation. Most of the animal bury themselves in the ground, which protect them from heat and wait for the cooler temperature to arrive. And this is commonly seen in frogs. Land snakes climb trees to escape the heat of the ground, sealing themselves into their shell using dried mucus. So, large number of estivating animals perish in periods of prolonged drought, because if it is prolonged, they cannot sustain their life and they perish during this estivation period. So, these are the four different types of animal movements and animal behaviors according to different temperatures, etc. Navigation, homing instinct, hibernation, which is winter sleep, and estivation, which is summer sleep. So, with this, we come to the end of this particular session. In the next session, we'll be discussing about pheromones and the importance of pheromones. Thanks for hearing.